Okay. Monday edition of the After Show. Got Wink of Justice with you. Wink over here on the East Coast.
And Justice on the West Coast of the contiguous United States of America. It is Metaphor Mondays on the After Show. We call things what they are by the use of a metaphor rather than as a simile. And that's what we do on Mondays. So, Wink, how are you doing?
Not bad, not bad. It is 56 degrees, sunny, going up to about 62, 63. So it's going to be one of those October days, September days. More of a September day, really. Not bad out there, and we'll take it. Right to get the chat, just go to netrootsradio.com. Scroll down the bottom of the page, and on the right-hand side of the bottom of the page, there is a link to the chat. So click that and join us there.
And, of course, donate button, contribute buttons are to the leftish of the chat room link there at the bottom of the homepage. And thank you for your generosity there.
Yes.
We're a little behind on podcasts. Sorry about that. When we get caught up, the raw data file will be on Spreaker. Normally that comes shortly after the show, but we'll get either that or probably just forego all of those and just get right to the perfected daily file, and that'll be on Podbean, iTunes, TuneIn,
shortly thereafter,
Stitcher, and other places. So do that. And let's see. Here along the banks of the Rogue River in the Rogue River Valley of Southern Oregon, it is currently 37 degrees, slated for a high of 64, low tonight of 40. Let's see, winds are out of the east-northeast now, a little less than 2 miles per hour. What's our pressure? It is a little high pressure, 30.08 inches. Visibility is 9 miles, humidity at 82%, and air quality is good with an air quality index of 32. So I'll take that. Okay, weather from around the world is brought to you by People's Personal Weather Stations, and these people bought them, and they live around the world. Okay, the guy just outside of London is registering 62 degrees Fahrenheit and overcast. Paris is 65 and overcast. Rome is 73 and partly cloudy. Kiev is 48 and overcast. Kabul is 82 and clear. Hong Kong is 88 and clear. Tokyo is 69 degrees and rain. Sydney, Australia is 64 degrees and partly cloudy. San Francisco, California is 61 degrees Fahrenheit and clear. And New York is 63 and clear. And that is weather from around the world, brought to you by People's Personal Weather Stations that they have in their yards, penthouse suites, balconies around the world. Okay, I don't know if you can tell. I don't have my usual obnoxious lilt in my voice. I'm a little down today. We had this mass shooting in Las Vegas. And I totally forgot my brother, the actor, Jerome Hamilton, was at going to that concert. And he was indeed at that concert and called one sister, and my sister who's the nurse, she was asleep. And for some reason turned off the phone, but he got a hold of my other sister down in Apple Valley. And they were on the phone while these shots were, being fired, and he was up near the stage, which is where the bulk of the shooting was aimed at. We know that the guy who was the shooter was shooting from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay high-rise hotel there, checked in. Somewhat of a local guy, they say local, not Las Vegas proper, but moved back and forth between Reno and just outside of Vegas. 64 years old, served during Vietnam, but not in Vietnam. I've been hearing some, and this will be confirmed later, I've been hearing gambling debts. Guy had gambling debts. Now, the police are loath to call this a terrorist attack. Now, mind you, 50 people were killed and over 400 injured. Right now, the number is 20-something critical. Just a lone wolf, disgruntled. When they're white, it's never terror. I would think that, it's a terrorist attack. It's just me. So all evident or all information that I can glean is that my brother is safe and sound, and they couldn't sleep last night, so I've been shot at before. Wink. Have you been shot at before? I mean, in all your time in the military, were you ever shot at?
No. Nope.
Ever shot at in like life?
Nope.
Okay. It's weird. I have
I'm
been
sure
shot
it is, yeah.
at, but not with hundreds and hundreds of rounds. Now, my brother had been a cop before he began his acting career in earnest. And he did say, I mean, when he called my sister, that was when the first clip was happening. And it took a while to unload 90 rounds, Wink. The guy had 90 round magazines. And the cell phone video of it as it's occurring, people don't know what's going on at first. They're kind of like looking around like, what was that? And in that quiet time is when the guy is reloading a magazine back into his weapon, and he starts firing again. And then people are like falling closer to people. It's 22,000 people standing up in this concert, by the way, Wink.
Oh yeah.
They're sort of like in a big lot, in the almost sort of like the courtyard of all these buildings. And it's a standing room only. There's no festival seating or anything. You stand up for this thing. So, but my brother, maybe from his training as being a cop, knew exactly what the rounds were when he first heard it from the first magazine of 90. And so then he called my sister when that stopped. And then the firing starts again, and he goes, "We got to get out of here." So my sister down in Southern California talked to him, and he said that he and his friend were unable to sleep, and she came from Italy. They're not really used to this stuff, Wink.
True. Yep.
Oh my God. So small world. Now my brother would tend to, even before his acting career, he was involved in, he's a big guy. So he was a Golden Gloves heavyweight boxer. And so he used to, go to all these big boxing matches and stuff. And sometimes he'd be in the ring and, wave at people because, for his exploits. And, so it wasn't unusual for him to be in Vegas. But now that he's an actor, he's jetting off all over the place. And I totally spaced that he was going to this concert. Your life can change in a minute, as Steve Scalise would say. And I would say, actually, you're wrong. It can change in a microsecond. Doesn't take a minute. Only a moment in a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of time, Wink.
Yep.
Unbelievable. So 50 dead so far because of there's, some people in critical condition. I don't know. Trump did send his warmest condolences, not deep, warmest condolences. People in Puerto Rico are political ingrates, and the people injured in Las Vegas get the warmest of condolences. To be fair, he did send warm condolences to the survivors of the Holocaust, too. So I guess we know where his heart is at. Oh, boy. You know how fast, information like on Wikipedia changes? Like when someone dies, it's like the second they die, it's like totally updated, right? Picture of the deadliest mass shooting in America still is like a guy of color. So, they're not so quick to change that one. Okay. A lot of people I know who are, on the white end of the color spectrum call me a race traitor. The only race trader I've ever practiced, Wink, really is when I put a lot of emphasis on the quarter mile rather than the half mile, 400 meters instead of 800 meters. That's the only trader to my race I ever, because I was along, Actually, I love the 400 meters. It was longer than a sprint, but shorter than a long distance. But you needed to have stamina. Yep. You had to have stamina, but you really had to run at really close to sprint speed the whole used to be back in the day. As soon as you made that first turn, then you would glide out, right? Now they just push it the whole way around. You're going about 98% of speed the whole time around, or faster.
Yep.
And I was pretty good. I was turning in 400 meters. I was turning 48s in the 400 meters, which wasn't bad for high school or young college kid. And but that was my favorite race. But they wanted me in the half mile, and I did well in that too, 151. So I wasn't so bad. But that was the only trader to my race I've ever practiced, because what does it mean to be a traitor to your race?
Yeah.
And it's not like, I don't go with this thing like, oh, I don't see color. I see color. I see inequity. I see exactly what's going on. But I also see, we're all human beings, aren't we? Which is really tough when you're dealing with a Nazi, Remember in Saving Private Ryan when they let the Nazi guy live and then he ended up killing the Jewish guy, stabbing him and stuff up in the, when he made his way down the stairs and the little wimpy guy, got it. He even had like a wimpy. He wasn't a Red Cross
Not
guy.
Red Cross, but medic. He was medic.
I don't know. No, he wasn't a medic. He was carrying guns.
Oh, that's
for
right.
people.
He was carrying ammunition. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't blame it on the medics.
Yeah.
They're God's people.
Oh yeah.
But no, he's a little snotty guy and wimpy guy. Though he did, when the Nazi then was on whatever assault that he was involved in showed up, then the guy did rectify the problem, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's tough. I mean, when dealing with, well, should I be humane to a Nazi when given the chance they're going to kill you?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's not like I don't know. I know people will say, well, that's different now. Really, is it? Have you ever listened to these people? Have you ever? Oh, they're calling you up. I better get on with this. These are the issues that we are dealing with today. Thank you for Saved by the Bell, as they say. Well, these are the issues that we are dealing with today, and they are. Republican Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin calls healthcare, food, and shelter a privilege. Now that's dealing with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Well, it is a libertarian view. Food for my baby. There's no right for food for your baby. It's a privilege. Don't you know? Wink, we're going to hear about a ban on open air concerts now, Wink. We're going to hear like we're going to have spot ID and security checks on the street. We're going to have metal detectors and pat downs to get into lobbies of hotels. But the one thing we will never talk about? Banning assault weapons. You'll never do that.
Right.
We'll ban out open air concerts because if you don't have an open air concert, it's tougher for them to shoot.
Exactly.
The NRA and GOP just as recently as last week, the middle to late last week, tried to push this bill through again for making silencers legal on these weapons? I mean, I got to tell you, the first 90 rounds, people still didn't get what was happening. It was only after the second clip was put in, magazine was put in, and really people started falling and, blood splattering and stuff, that people started, like, out of the 22,000 realized what the heck was going on. And they were hearing this stuff. I guess maybe the NRA doesn't want us to be afraid when we get killed, instantaneously. We might hear the report of the gun and put us on some sort of, like, I don't know, trauma as we're dying. I never knew the NRA was so humane, Wink. Gosh, they're just thinking of us. Oh, back to issues that we are attending to today. A leaked memo authored by Trump's top Homeland Security advisor, Tom Bossert, reveals the White House will aggressively shift the blame for its dismal response to Hurricane Maria while carrying out planned hits against Trump's critics. Because apparently when you're a mobster, leadership is done by way of reprisal. That's leadership for you. Speaking of which, Trump told aides that he always wanted to portray a crazy, erratic, and unpredictable guy on TV. Now he gets his chance with North Korea.
Yeah.
He told aides, he says that make him think that I'm crazy, erratic, and unpredictable. And his aides are going, make them believe that? Aides are going, wow, finally we have something that's going to be easy.
Indeed.
And on the last half, we report that Hewlett-Packard Enterprise let Russia scrutinize the cyber defense system and source code used by the Pentagon to protect its network because, Jesus, unbelievable. I guess when there's money to be made, all this BS that they keep. Oh, you don't want any borders. You just want all these brown people just to, like, stream on in. No border liberal. But when it comes to money, national secrets, are you kidding? We're bigger than any country.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, on a happy note, though, American scientists, I suppose if you're nationalists like we are, and we like having Americans win things, at least, I don't know, this is interesting to me. American scientists Jeffrey C. Hall, Michael Rosbash, and Michael Young have been awarded the 2017 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for research into the circadian rhythm. Wow. I don't know. Some people that makes them sleepy hearing that. Some people, they feel refreshed and ready to go. And we do, because we have all that, plus the Connect, Unite, Act Daily Kos community calendar. And there's obviously more. So much more at the top. I'm going to have less more now on the after show with that ever so fine fellow. Over there on the East Coast, his name is Wink, and my name is Justice on the West Coast. And we're also going to have the Connect, Unite, Act Daily Kos community calendar, as I said, and more. And we do this 5 days a week for an hour-ish in the specific, particular, and peculiar tear in the fabric of space-time because we love you, baby. All right, got through that. 50 dead so far, Wink. Disgruntled.
Yep.
I don't know. I put this on social media, too, and if people are picking up on that and you're hearing me repeat this, because, I'm trying it out, this is shtick. But regardless, if I didn't know better, Wink, I think that these lone wolf, angry white men roam in packs.
Exactly. Yep.
There's a lot of angry white men, lone wolves out there. And they seem to roam in packs. Not terror. The Orlando shooter? I mean, it was minutes. And they said, oh, yeah. Guy of color? Oh, yeah, terrorism. White guy kills 500. Worse than, I guess maybe the Austin shooter back in the day, the Austin Tower shooter back in the day. Now, I remember that as a terrorist attack, but maybe it was just simply, I don't know, a vicious murder. I don't know. Seems terrorism to me, but I guess, was there a political agenda? The shooter's brother says the guy had no religious or political affiliations one way or the other. Though I think that somebody who's living in Nevada, not in major cities, and you have like an arsenal. You're 64, you're a white guy. You're living in rural white America, and you have an arsenal. I don't know. What could his political affiliations might be? I'm confused what they might be. I'm confused what radio stations the guy might listen to, since they're the only ones you can listen to in that area.
Yep.
I don't know. Motive is inadequate. That's what they said. I don't know. He's white. Okay. This first article is by Natasha Geeling, or Geiling, but I'm sure it's Geeling. Out of Think Progress. When asked by a high school student in Wisconsin whether he considered health care a right or a privilege, Senator Ron Johnson, Repug of Wisconsin, compared access to health care, access to food and shelter, arguing that all three should be considered privileges for those who can afford them. You don't have food? You don't deserve to live. And they call themselves Christians, Wink. Well, he does split hairs here. I think it's more of a privilege, Johnson said in response to the question. Do you consider food a right? Do you consider clothing a right? Do you consider shelter a right? What we have as rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, yeah, I think food is like a right to life, Wink. Clothing might even be a right to liberty. If you have some sort of societal restraints that prevent you from being able to walk around with your junk hanging around all over the place.
Yeah.
Shelter? I don't know. I'm pretty happy when I have shelter, Wink. We have the right to freedom, he continued. Past that point, everything else is a limited resource that we have to use our opportunities given to us so that we can afford those things. If you check Ron Johnson's hands, I bet you his fingernails are manicured. He's probably got the softest G-din hands around. The only calluses on that guy is in his heart and soul. My God. Okay. Now, they're just, who was it that said it? I'm trying to think. Somebody well known. Oh, Dolores Huerta said that they've taken the hoods off and they're just showing us their faces now. They don't even need to hide it anymore, Wink. They can just come right out and say, if you can't afford food, you don't deserve to live. Next thing we'll know is they're going to be passing laws to, why waste time waiting for him to die? Let's help him. I mean, government is there to help those who are at least able to help themselves. And if they're too poor to feed themselves, maybe we ought to, starve them quicker. It's Monday. It is Monday, Wink.
Could always give Dr. K a call, I guess.
Yeah, why not? Kevorkian, he's dead, but we can still, the spirit lives on, as they say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, David Ferguson out of Raw Story. A memo linked yesterday and published by Axios reveals that Donald Trump's administration is aggressively trying to shift the blame for its dismal response to Hurricane Maria and carry out planned hits against his critics. Trump's top Homeland Security advisor, Tom Bossert, authored the memo, which detailed the administration's plans to, quote, start a theme of recovery planning for the bright future that lies ahead for Puerto Rico. Planned hits, tweets, TV bookings, and other work will limit the need for reactionary efforts. Reactionary efforts, you mean like breaking into people's places? You mean that kind of reactionary efforts that we remember from, I don't know, within our lifetime, Wink?
Indeed. Yep.
All they have to do is just say, and the Pentagon did have to, after Bush said, everything's fine. We got 10,000 military and they're doing everything's fine. No one's dying. The morgues are full. This is by the Pentagon, by the way. The morgues are full, and 45% of the island is without water. And they had to put out this urgent memo saying, no, nothing is fine. It's an apocalypse. This is the Pentagon's words. But, put out the message of positivity. If people believe it, it will be true. It's the secret, Puerto Rico will only have cholera if you think they will, Wink. Stop thinking it.
Yeah.
Think positive. You can't lose with the stuff I use, as he's like, I don't know. Does he even touch money? Is money too dirty for him? He says he doesn't like black people handling his money. He only wants little guys with yarmulkes. That's his words. Oh, no. He's not anti-Semitic. Some of his best friends are Jews. Okay. Well, this is an old tired playbook. I mean, we saw this in the Nixon administration. Go after your critics, even though, what's right in front of your eyes belies the statement. Oh, everything's fine. Don't worry. We're not bombing Cambodia, but Cambodia's getting bombed. We can see it right now. Oh, no. Shh, we would never do that. We would never break into Daniel Ellsberg's psychiatrist's office to pick up dirt on him. Come on. What do you think we are, crooks?
Exactly.
Okay. I'm telling you, it's all the grievances from Nixon and Watergate. They're coming back, and that's what they do. Ooh, okay. Let's get on with this here. Oh, you saw that I did. Oh, you did. You acknowledged I put a new Hightower into Dropbox.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Right.
Okay, this is also by David Ferguson out of Raw Story. Donald Trump said in an Oval Office meeting in September that he wanted aides to describe him to South Korean leaders as being so crazy that he could pull out of a long-standing U.S.-Korean trade deal and make erratic, unpredictable moves at any time. Don't worry, Don. You're already typecast for this, okay? Don't worry. You don't have to use any method acting to dig deep into that reservoir of feelings in which to be able to portray this character. My God. The 12 people in his office are going, wow, we have to portray him as this way? Don't you guys know that this guy needs 2 to 3 lawyers coming in every time to corroborate, what Trump said? Because the minute they walk out of the room, he's going to say the opposite of what he told his lawyers. So they got to go in groups of 2 or 3. Jesus. What was that again? Crazy, erratic, unpredictable. Portray me as that, please. Okay, no problem. We got that one covered. Yeah. Okay. Well, this isn't news, Wake, but it is corroboration. So let's get to our Jim Hightower break. And we got a new one for the week, beginning of the week here, of course. And we'll come back, go through the Connect, Unite, Act Daily Codes community calendar, and finish up with the last half. You are listening to the After Show on Netroots Radio with Week in Justice, and we will be right back.
You know what's wrong with American politics? It's that there just aren't enough ways for giant corporations and mega-rich political donors to funnel their big bucks into our elections and buy our government. At least that's what Donald Trump, the Republican Party, and a devious group of right-wing political pastors are saying. And, of course, they've got a diabolical fix for this, quote, problem. Their scheme is to turn tax-exempt, far-right churches into gushing sewers of political money, secretly channeling unlimited amounts of cash from corporations and right-wing extremists through the churches into the campaigns of politicians who'll do their bidding. They don't admit this, of course, instead wrapping their scheme in the pious rhetoric of religious freedom. Their point of attack is the Johnson Amendment, a 1954 law passed by LBJ that prohibits tax-exempt charities, including churches, from endorsing candidates, funding campaigns, and directly engaging in politics. The Alliance Defending Freedom, an extremist Christian operation pushing repeal of Johnson's amendment, asserts that banning churches from overt political campaigning lets the IRS, quote, tell pastors what they can and cannot preach. Clever, but totally dishonest. First, the issue is not whether the government can tell church groups what to say. It can't. But whether taxpayers should subsidize a church group's electioneering views and activities. Second, and most diabolical, repealing the Johnson ban would turn these churches into holy temples of dark money. Special interest funders would rush to these political, quote, charities, not only because the churches would be super-secret super PACs, but churches are tax-exempt, meaning the donors would also be blessed with a tax deduction for their corrupting campaign contributions. This is Jim Hightower saying taxpayers would be underwriting the corruption of American politics. How ungodly is that?
Need an antidote to the progressive blues? Want some good news about how grassroots folks are rebelling against the corporate powers and winning? Well, here's an easy-to-swallow pill for you, the Hightower Lowdown. Hightower's monthly newsletter will give you the lowdown, even as it lifts you up. It's 4 pages a month, jam-packed with facts you can use, actions you can take, and Jim's own Texas humor, all for only $15 a year. To become a lowdowner, go to hightowerlowdown.org.
You are listening to netrootsradio.com.
Please hang up and try again.
From a point at sea to the circles of your mind, a new force is at work for planetary transformation. New radio for a new Earth.
Okay, we're back.
And indeed, we are back. And thank you for sticking with us. This is the After Show with Wink and Justice. Justice here along the banks of the Rogue River in the Rogue River Valley of Southern Oregon on the West Coast. Wink is in upstate New York 21 on the East Coast. Our crew are the ethereal creatures who reside in the cloud, whose advanced intergalactic technical abilities allow Netroots Radio, and thus by extension the After Show, to span the globe, the solar system, and beyond. Okay, little station notes. We did an update, or I did an update Friday on some software that's been waiting. It's been in queue, and I keep getting these messages saying update. So I did, and now I'm not able to monitor the station in real time. I can only hear it when it comes through the players, which is sometimes, a few seconds or up to a minute or more behind.
Right.
So it's a little tough. So if timing seems a little off, the free form style that I love to practice is going to be a little off. But the automated parts where I'm able to actually put things on a clock, they'll work fine.
Yeah.
But if you hear any lags or whatnot, just sorry, timing will be a bit off until we can figure out how to get this software from the vendor, by the way.
Right.
Fix.
Yep.
Oh, and vendors, get some sort of chat capability, because waiting 24 hours to, I asked a question, you took 24 hours to respond. You said you would. That's great. Okay. And then you asked me a question, and then I had to send you back a bunch of stuff and answer your question. And then you came back and asked another clarifying question just to make sure, right? And then 24 hours after that, you responded, it'd be nicer if it'd be quicker.
Yeah, a little text action.
No, I'm just afraid that, by the time we get the answers or the questions answered, it's going to be Friday.
Right.
When I could have had it done on Saturday. But, I suppose if you're just one guy sitting in the basement of your mom's basement. I mean, if you're in the basement of your mom's basement, that's pretty low.
There you go.
Yeah, but, they're running the business. Everything was working fine. I loved it. Just make it work the way it was before, please. And what is it about updates, Wink? I can understand security updates.
Yep. That's really all you need.
But, it's like...
if it works, just keep it working.
They to reinvent the wheel every 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Come on.
Drives me nuts, yep.
Oh, no, there's people. We got people working here. We have to have them do something.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Give me the jetpack you promised.
Yeah, create more software. Don't worry.
I don't need 280 characters, Wink. No,
right.
I don't need 280 characters to complain. No. Give me the jetpack I was promised. Get the people on that.
Yep.
Promise us jetpacks. Okay. Today's Connect, Unite, Act Daily Co's Community Diary is facilitated by Chi-Town Kev. And his lead-in today is, do you enjoy big screen or small screen revivals? Well, I can tell you right before he even mentions Will and Grace coming back after 11 years. No, I don't like revivals. It's just another indicator of that there's not an original idea coming out of Hollywood. I get so tired of it. And what is this? I don't care if Harrison Ford is in the new Blade Runner or not. It ain't Philip K. Dick.
Yep.
I mean, there's some debate whether Blade Runner was really the Philip K. Dick novel that all of us knew and loved that were into Philip K. Dick. But I gotta tell you, the movie stood by itself, and I just, but this new one, I don't know. I don't know. And the new rollerball, I love the dude.
Yep.
Right. But the one with the original with James Caan, that's the one that should stand.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the effects were, not as profound as we expect, computer generated interfaces to work now. But still. So, Will and Grace is back, and everybody goes, I remember when Will and Grace was on, I didn't know anybody that was gay. Well, that is an actual good thing that Will and Grace brought to Heartland America. I never watched Will and Grace because, I don't know, the only straight people I knew was me and the other guy.
There you go.
Where I lived in the Bay Area. Me and the other guy. Get that one. You get it? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. We were the only two straight people in the whole group, in the whole Bay Area. Yeah. No, I don't know. Usually when these TV shows are on, Wink, I'm not watching. I'll catch up with them when they get syndicated.
That's when I do it too. Yeah. This week-to-week thing is just crazy. I wait till they go to cable.
And it's not to say, I know the actors. I know I know them as working actors, and I might know somewhat of the storyline. Like I said, there's not very much original. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wasn't Will and Grace with the guy from Die Hard movie? Was he in that?
No.
Okay.
No.
I never saw the show either. I have no idea.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Well, it
roommates.
was
I
in
don't
something
know.
like that, but it wasn't that. You're right. It was with.
It was like Will and Grace was like. I don't know. I can't remember the actor. He might have been in some Law and Orders or something like that. I mean, they're all working actors. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And everybody likes Big Bang Theory.
Yep.
I don't know. Give me Carl Sagan. All right.
I've never gotten into Big Bang Theory myself.
I
glance at it once in a while.
It's really heady. I watched it. I'm all, just give me Carl Sagan. All right.
Yeah.
If we're going to talk physics and, and to me, it's actually a slam against intellectualism because it makes the intellectual look goofy and detached and antisocial.
Yep.
And this one about the little snotty kid that's supposed to be like a gifted prodigy. This is another slam against intellectualism. I just hate it. Give me Carl Sagan.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Jeez.
All you need.
It's just me. All right. Events currently scheduled. Let's see. There is San Francisco Cossacks will, want to have a November date for welcome T. Burchard to the Bay Area. And Navajo is running this tentative dinner event in the city, early dinner. Stay tuned and Cosmail Navajo if you'd like to attend a November date, location, and time yet to be determined. And they actually have some people planning on going because that is San Francisco, And mark your calendars, August 2nd through the 4th of 2018 in New Orleans, Netroots Nation, 2018. Yep. As far as we know. I mean, they could get inundated with, a storm surge.
Right.
I don't know. Jesus. Usually in Hurricanes Week, it takes days, and so you can put your little military and first responder chess pieces in place.
Yeah.
But I suppose if you're going to terraform an island and you don't want a bunch of brown people there anyway, that you owe $33 million in a tax lien.
Yeah.
That maybe if they're all just gone, you can terraform it to your heart's content.
Oh, hell yeah. Nuke the hell out of it. Get it right where you want it.
They don't even need to nuke it. It's been nuked. Called Maria.
Yeah, exactly.
Do they really want to send drinking water to people they want to get rid of?
Yeah, that's the other thing. No, there won't be any drinking water.
He's going to go there tomorrow and say, look, I know I've got the gun to your head, but it's not personal. It's business. Except with Trump, it is also personal. He does not like being confronted, shall we say.
There you go.
All right. So that is your Connect Unite Act Daily Coast community calendar for the 2nd of October. Oh, happy birthday, son. My son's 40 years old today. That's like a demarcation in one's life.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Or as we like to say, you are now officially middle-aged.
There you go. Yep.
Which, what does that make me?
Yeah.
Happy birthday, son. I love you.
It's just, yeah.
All right. Yep. I remember this day so well. He was just a little guy, fit right in my hand. Not my hands. One hand. I mean, I don't have huge hands. I mean, I was a jock, so big enough.
Right.
But I didn't necessarily palm a basketball, but I could squeeze the hell out of it.
There you go.
So big enough to be able to squeeze it. I wasn't able to wrap around like you see some guys, but big enough. But my son, 6 pounds, 3 ounces, what was he, 21 inches, not terribly tiny enough, but I just remember how small he was. Yeah, I was the first human hands. I got to guide his little head out the birth canal and set him on his mom's stomach and help disconnect the umbilical cord and all that. And I was, you might say, an involved dad. Yep. The neglect would come later, as it always does. Love you, son. He might be listening here. I hope he's considering this like a joke. Neglect? It wasn't conscious. It was just benign. Okay?
There you go. Yeah.
What are dads for? No, I just remember this. It was such a, in the midst of all this, Wink, I had so much experience bringing in animals to the world, living on the farm and, the small ranch we had later. And I worked in first aid, I had already, at that point, I'd already worked in hospital settings, and Lamaze was a very new technique at the time. I might have mentioned this. It was almost like an act of Congress for me to even be in the birthing theater there. I had to sign all these releases that if I fell and cracked my head, they take care of mom. It would be baby, mom, me, right? It says by the time we get to you, you might be dead. I mean, they actually said that. I said, sure, no problem. But half a year of learning breathing exercises and all that. Of course, Lamaze is to lessen the use of drugs during the birthing process and to manage pain, which in Lamaze, the first thing that you learn is you don't call pain. Okay. Call it like uncomfortable, discomfort. You just don't call it pain. You're kind of meditating, redirecting, redefining things and stuff. And there's various exercises in which you can up oxygen or carbon dioxide levels, which will then push out endorphins, which we know are, pain relievers that we can manufacture ourselves physiologically. So 6 months or more of all that, Wink, I'm in the midst of it. And I'm like thinking, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Do I really know what I'm doing? But the doctor felt, this guy knows what he's doing. And he said, come around. And said, take over. And I did. And I like to think there was a little bit of bonding that went on. He seemed to follow me around like a little duckling. Well, he follows mom around too. But I don't know. It was neat. I remember guys in the oil fields later, when my son was still just like a little baby and, pooping in diapers. Right. And they thought that was the grossest thing in the world, that a guy changing diapers. And we're working in an oil field with the most noxious smell of sulfur and poop that you can ever imagine. They don't call it from the bowels of the earth for nothing. Okay? And I'm like, you guys can stand this, but you can't change a baby's diaper? Of course, I told him, look, have you ever changed the diapers of an 80-year-old guy? A baby is easy. And that was true, because I already had a lot of experience doing that, working in nursing homes and whatnot. So to me, changing a baby diaper, geez, almost like a vacation. But I just remember that these guys are so grossed out. And they're sitting eating their sandwiches, and there's a smell from the bowels of the earth. It's like, what the hell? Oh, God. Yep. And they all thought that Jimmy Carter at the time was like the worst president in the world, too, because this is when the hostage crisis was developing. Yep. Boy, they turned on him quick. It didn't take long. He was a Southerner, right?
Right.
And an evangelical. So it was really confusing to them. But boy, they turned on him quick as soon as they got a chance to get old Ronnie in it.
Yep.
All right. So, okay, we got a few minutes here. This is out of Reuters. And let me scroll down here. This is, okay, they don't tell me who is penning this. So some anonymous writer at Reuters. Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. Why isn't it called Enterprises? Hewlett-Packard Enterprise allowed a Russian defense agency to review the inner workings of a cyber defense software used by the Pentagon to guard its computer networks, according to Russian regulatory records and interviews with people who have direct knowledge of the issue. We get it with the Russian regulatory records, Wink.
Right.
Now, I don't know, maybe I'm a romantic, but I was under the impression that if you did these sorts of things, you had to register as a foreign agent. If you were dealing with people who are especially on the list.
One would think, yeah.
You would have to register that with the State Department that you met with these people and what your matter of business was, because they don't want you selling like little Game Boys so they can be turned into missile launchers. Unbelievable. But I don't know. So the Hewlett-Packard Enterprise system called ArcSight serves as a cybersecurity nerve center for much of the U.S. military, alerting analysts when it detects that computer systems may have come under attack. And ArcSight is also widely used in the private sector. Now, the Pentagon did go on to say, we haven't seen any evidence of any hacking. Yeah, because I think maybe they got hacked so that you can't. They went in and looked at the source code, wink. 6 former U.S. intelligence officials, as well as former ArcSight employees and independent security experts, said the source code review could help Moscow discover weaknesses in the software, potentially helping attackers to blind the U.S. military to a cyber attack. Yep, well, Pentagon says they're not aware of any hacks or cyber espionage that were made possible by that review process. Yeah, they looked at it. We haven't seen anything. Really? They got to see the source code of the software that alerts you to when there might be a cyber attack, and they looked at the source code and there's like not a little line of code maybe for a filter, maybe? I mean, I don't know. Experts in the field are probably laughing at me right now. Like, sort of like the gun nuts. You know, if you can't break down and put an AK-47, break it down and put it back together, an AK-47 in 3 minutes, you can't talk about gun control.
Right.
Okay, the review was conducted by Echelon. Wow, I know them. A company with close ties to the Russian military on behalf of the Russia's Federal Service for Technical and Export Control, a defense agency tasked with countering cyber espionage. Now, what the Russians are saying that they did in their review, we're looking to make sure that the Americans aren't putting anything in the stuff they're selling us. I don't know. Why don't you stay with Kaspersky and we'll stay with ours?
Yep,
Just
hard
me.
to know. Yep.
Yep, the U.S. military agency itself did not require a source code review before purchasing ArcSight, and generally does not place such requirements on tech companies for off-the-shelf software like ArcSight. Instead, the DISA evaluates the security standards used by the vendors. She said everyone was happy. Well, I would think that the security measures used by the vendors when you're allowing the Russian military to come in, Russian military and intelligence to come in and look at the source code of the software that you're selling to the Pentagon? Am I missing something here? I must. They say everyone's happy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I suppose if you're trying to dismantle the administrative or deconstruct the administrative state, there's a playbook. And it's in Cyrillic. But apparently there's a good translator that people can use and is working quite well. Okay, today ArcSight is a virtually irreplaceable tool for many parts of the U.S. military, at least for the immediate future, Pentagon records show. HP ArcSight software and hardware are so embedded, Pentagon's logistic agency wrote in April that it could not consider other competitors absent an overhaul of the current IT infrastructure. Huh. Wow. Maybe this push by the GOP to consolidate everything into easy hackable components by agents of a foreign country. I don't know. It's helping them get rid of Medicare. I guess that's all they care for, Wink.
Yep.
As long as it helps them get rid of the social safety net, they'll be happy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, 2017 Nobel Prize for Medicine. Well, the Nobels are being handed out already. Now, I'm not sure if Colin Kaepernick is on for the peace medal, but I've been hearing some rumors. So we'll see. This is by Hannah Osborne out of Newsweek. Jeffrey C. Hall, Michael Rosbash, Michael Young have been awarded the 2017 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for the discoveries of molecular mechanisms controlling the circadian rhythm. Huh. Now, you know what the circadian rhythm is, Wink.
Yeah,
it's
sleep,
a biological clock that we live by, and it's actually been tied to the hypothalamus and light. And the stimulation of light through the eyeball will activate the hypothalamus in different ways and secrete hormones.
There you go.
And so that's why in some instances the advice is, have a completely darkened room, you have a better sleep or whatnot. And there's also been speculation that our technology extending the daylight hours has messed up our circadian rhythms, and that's why we're all sleepy and frustrated, and we have to take all of these melatonins to be able to, sleep.
Exactly.
So, but what these fellows are doing is that they're looking at it at the molecular level, which, as we know, these proteins and stuff, these molecules are like little machines. They have doors that open up. I mean, it's crazy. Hinges. Have you seen them? Have you seen this stuff on molecular microscopes, Week?
No.
Pictures of them?
No.
Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like we're living in the Matrix.
Indeed, yeah.
Okay.
These are the machines, molecular machines?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're little machines. These molecular structures. That's what they look is crazy. Okay, scientists have long known circadian rhythms exist and are important to the physiology and behavior of an organism. However, how this worked on a genetic level was not known. In the 80s, the three isolated and characterized the period gene, a gene that explained changes to the regular 24-hour cycle of the fruit fly larvae hatching from their eggs. Over the following years, the three scientists made a series of breakthroughs that would lead them to identify other genes that partner with the period gene, eventually leading to the discovery of molecular mechanisms of the circadian clock. Once they identified those mechanisms, they realized there was a complex network of reactions that take place within the body that the circadian rhythm is involved in, including body temperature, blood pressure, hormone release, metabolism, and sleep patterns. Okay, so the seminal discoveries by Hall, Rosbash, and Young have revealed a crucial physiological mechanism explaining circadian adaptation with important implications for human health and disease, the Nobel Prize organizers said in a statement. All right. Well, congratulations, gentlemen. Good work. Now get some rest. All right. Okay, we're at the end of our broadcast period for today, and we'll listen to Francis Cabral's La Corrida. Because, hey, there was a Catalonian referendum, and the cops tried to keep people from voting to the point of, beating the crap out of old people and young people, because that was the constituency that wanted the Catalonian referendum. And I don't know. I just think it's appropriate to have La Corrida, the bull.
There you go. Yep.
Before we have Hartman. So stay tuned to Netroots Radio 24/7, 365. We'll be back here tomorrow, bright and bushy, with Chris Reeves. And so listen to Netroots Radio 24/7, 365. And why? Because who loves you, baby? Oh, and wait, one other thing. I'll see you on the other side.
All right. We're out.